I'm talking about this event, when I'm talking about going all in and being so special, you can't you can't go wrong with an army of penises. Oh god, okay. This can't be, no way, I can't get flagged for this, can I? Because it's a cover.
It's a potato.
What's a potato? What?
It's been playing a potato.
Oh shit! Holy fuck! I thought that was an actual like flute. Hey everybody! I went and saw All In, which was the biggest independent wrestling show of all time ever, and it was done by the Young Bucks and Cody, and it was really fucking fun, and I want to talk about it. So I have New Japan Pro Wrestling World, which is where you can watch it. It's the one I'd recommend watching it on, since I believe it was like $40 US to watch it, just one event. And you get New Japan World, and you get $10, and you can see the event right now. You have every single other event that's going to happen. So it's best off watching it on New Japan World, so I went and did that. But I did not watch the pre-show, which was called 0 Hour. I just went and watched the actual show itself. So, I'm going to go run down some of the matches here, well, all the matches that are on the main show, and give you my quick thoughts on them. And yeah, so we're going to start off. Where are you? Okay. First match. Oh god, it's loud. Oh. Okay. First match. Matt Cross defeated MJF, and this had absolutely no purpose for the show. I do understand that they wanted to go and show the skill set for Matt Cross. He's like I mean, I don't know who he is. A lot of the wrestlers on here I've never actually seen before. I mean, I know of them, but I haven't seen them wrestle. And Matt Cross, I didn't actually know he existed. But I believe they went and put him on there to go and showcase his skills. But ultimately, I mean, it was a good match. He was very good. But it just had, like, no purpose whatsoever. Especially at the very end of the show, where you had the very last match with the Young Bucks and Kota Ibushi and Rey Mysterio. Getting cut off. They ended the stream with literal seconds to spare. They were under a very tight time restraint. They had to go and finish, I believe it was like by 11, and they literally finished within seconds. So the match, it was under 10 minutes. Apparently it was supposed to be 28 minutes long, but due to time restraints, because a lot of the matches, for example, Okada's and Marty Scurll's match went over the estimated time, so they had to fucking rush the shit out of it. And when I was absolutely, I could hear, you could hear them when they're wrestling. You can go and hear them say, you know, take it home, because they had to go and rush the shit out of it. It was the first 3 minutes of the match, and they were saying, "We're gonna take it home, boys." And when the match was done, it fucking finished in like 2 seconds. The whole string cut off. It was done. So the match having Matt Cross on there at the start, sure, he was very good. But it just ultimately made everything else suffer, making it really quick. If the last match went for a bit longer with that more time, if this got removed, would have been a lot better. But I mean, it was a fair enough match. Went for 9 minutes and 23 seconds. It was, you know, it was a decent match. On to the next match, you had Christopher Daniels, who defeated Stephen Amell. This match went for 12 minutes and 30 seconds. I haven't seen Stephen Amell's stuff. I know this is, like you said, it was his third professional wrestling match. And it certainly did show. He was very shaky in there, and it was very sort of, janky. He wasn't as flush as you'd expect someone who's never been a professional wrestler before. But it was very entertaining. You had a great spot where he went and fell straight through, like he crashed through a table. That was very, entertaining. And he's up for it since, he's on Arrow. He's a stuntman. So, yeah, overall was a entertaining match, and I think it was pretty good for somebody who had just been in their third ever professional wrestling event. And this was actually the first time as well I had seen Christopher Daniels, and he's pretty good too. He's fine, He has an interesting character to him. He's a cocky fuck, so that's all right.
Language.
Next match, you had Tessa Blanchard, who defeated Chelsea Green, Madison Rayne, and Britt Baker. And this one was a four-corner survival match, went for 12 minutes and 41 seconds. Now, this is the first time I'd ever seen any of these women wrestle before. I know of Tessa Blanchard. I've heard that name being tossed around all over these wrestling forums and other events. But this is the first time I actually had seen her wrestle, and she is fucking scary. She is in case you guys don't know, she's like the indie equivalent, for what I guess, of Charlotte Flair. Like, she's fucking just like, I mean, she's from the same place. And she's fucking just an absolute monstrosity. She's a beast. She's like fucking up everybody. She was a powerhouse. But everybody else had their chance to shine. It was interesting seeing each of these women have their own sort of characters and quirks. A lot of them are focusing themselves on the Impact, Impact division. So having Tessa Blanchard being the Impact, I believe it was Knockouts champion or whatever the women's wrestling championship is over at Impact, it shows because she fucked everybody up in this match. And so, yeah, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And Tessa Blanchard is up there now from one of my favorite women's wrestlers. So the next match, Cody Rhodes versus Nick Aldis for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. It went for 22 minutes and 1 second. And this was, I think this has to be the highlight of the night. It was a really heavily emotionally invested match with everybody there. Of course, Cody went and he was the one that spurred this whole thing where he made this whole event pretty much. And, you have the family history there for the NWA World's Championship. His father had won it, and having him pass away, you have this heavily emotionally invested match. Having him, win it at the very end. And it was a classic match. He had these sort of funny little classic spots where, he was injured and you had people trying to intervene, and you had DDP go in there and, intervene in there. It was a very old school type of match, which is very fitting for the fact that it's, an old championship. I believe it said like he was the 93rd or the 94th holder of the championship, so it's an old one. So it was very fitting to have an old school slow type of match. And the finish itself was great. I loved the fact that it was just as simple as it's a little roll up, and the fact that the commentators didn't say anything at all. They left it completely silent and let the audience just absolutely soak everything in absolute silence. Like, I mean, the pop that it got when he got the 3 count was so cool. It just the whole place erupted for something as simple as a roll up. It really spoke volumes for how much everybody was invested in this match, and it was a very awesome moment. This is a very special moment, and it sums up pretty much this whole event. Is that this event is something very special. It had a very special feel to it, and the fact that Cody went and spurred up this whole idea, I'm gonna go and make my own events with the Young Bucks, and I'm gonna go and see how we go and just put forward what I think is the best of what professional wrestling is. And the fact for him to go and win this championship, which is, in his family, his father had gone and held it, and it was a really awesome match and a really awesome moment, and up there for match of the night, I think. So, the next match had Hangman Page and Joey Janela in a Chicago street fight. It went for 20 minutes and 8 seconds. And this was the first time I'd actually seen Joey Janela wrestle. I know that he's a fucking spastic. I know that he's off the rails. From what I've seen of his character in like the pre-release press conferences and other sort of promotional videos, and as well as I know he has his own, promotion that he's done. I believe it's Joey Janela's Spring Break or something like that. So I know that he has like a reputation, and seeing this is that he's off the wall. He puts himself through everything. There was a really nasty spot that he went and put himself through. He got fucking like absolutely nailed headfirst through a ladder. And he got thrown onto a chair really awkwardly. But Penelope Ford, this is a woman that was with Joey Janela that accompanied him to the ring. She absolutely shined in this. There was an awesome moment with Hangman Page where she absolutely just like jumped on him and just like was tossing him around and fucking him up really. And it was a really highlight of the match. I think she's awesome, and everybody was over with her. It was awesome. But overall, it was a fun match. It had all sorts of spots, all its nastiness. Really ugly stuff, and the finishing spot was really great too. Hangman Page doing his finisher off the ladder through the table. That was a great one too. And you had for Chloe, for someone who doesn't know much about wrestling, and then you hear me go and say, "Oh, wrestling, it's so cool, it's so awesome." For you just to turn your head and to see what happened afterwards, where you had an army of penises come to the ring.
I mean, it's my dream, really.
Yeah, it's something. When I'm talking about this event, when I'm talking about going all in and being so special, you can't. You can't go wrong with an army of penises. And everything that happened afterwards. That just take that what you will. I'm not so. I know it's supposed to be like a whole storyline with being the elite and everything, but I wasn't following that too much. It didn't cater to me all that much, but I know it was a lot of fun for a lot of people. It was like a really fun moment. It was like silly, but it was a quirky thing about the match. Overall, the match was great, and it was great addition to the card. The next match is Jay Lethal, who defeated Flip Gordon for the Ring of Honor World Championship to retain it. It went for 14 minutes and 21 seconds. I did not see the over-the-top, over-budget Battle Royal that Flip Gordon did win, but I do know the story from Being the Elite that Flip Gordon wanted to be booked. It's the whole thing going book flip. So it's good that he got a high-profile match for the Ring of Honor Championship. You had Jay Lethal channeling in, Macho Man throughout the match. That was a whole big story point of the match. You actually had Macho Man's brother there on ringside to sort of, tie everything together. And so it was a lot of fun. You had Jay Lethal going in and out of being the character of Macho Man. It was pretty fun. But yeah, first time I've really seen Jay Lethal or Flip Gordon wrestle. And I think Flip Gordon's pretty neat. He does flippy shit. Flip Gordon, you expect. But yeah, overall, that was a nice match to the card as well. Now, the next match was pretty fucking good. It was Kenny Omega who defeated Pentagon Jr. and went for 17 minutes and 47 seconds. And I'd heard a lot of hype when it comes to Pentagon Jr. And I already know lots about Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's fucking fantastic. Arguably pretty much everyone can say he's the best wrestler in the world at the moment. So, I mean, it's bound to be a fantastic match, and it was. Pentagon really fucking shined. I think he's fucking awesome, and I'm going to see more from him. Yeah, just some overall hard-hitting stuff, and Pentagon Jr.'s style is really hard-hitting. Everybody would arguably say that the biggest highlight of the match was Pentagon doing a fucking package pile driver to Kenny Omega on the apron, and he fucking sprung off that thing like his neck was made of like a fucking spring. It was absolutely insane, and it looked fucking nasty. Overall, it was a fantastic match, and Kenny Omega came up with the win. Next match is Kazuchika Okada, who defeated Marty Scurll, and this match went for 26 minutes and 5 seconds. Now, like I said before, this is the match that pretty much went over time, and it really affected when it came to the last match, when it came to the Golden Elite and like Rey Mysterio and the other guys in their last match, but was really rushed. This match went for a longer pace, it was a slower pace, but in terms of Kazuchika Okada's matches, this is pretty much, this is his pace. This is the way he likes to go and do his matches in New Japan. So, but it felt like a little bit out of place. It felt slower, of course, since it's the longest match, compared to the other matches. But overall, it was a really nice match. It was really fun. Everybody was on board with Marty Scurll because the big story point of the match was that Marty Scurll, he's only a comedic wrestler pretty much. And he's a junior heavyweight. He's not a full-fledged heavyweight like Okada is. And the fact that Okada is the longest reigning and, in people's eyes, the greatest IWGP heavyweight champions ever lived. So, it's like a David versus Goliath sort of situation. And it made some really comedic moments in the match. And a great highlight of the match was where you had Okada, he pretty much... He went and, singled up like 205, like for 205 Live, because that was a little joke he did in Being the Elite. And when he did that, you had Marty go and take advantage and grab his fingers and snap them. So that was a really fun and pretty much the highlight of the entire match. So overall, it was a great match. But now we get into the main event of the night, which was the Golden Elite. You had Young Bucks and Kota Ibushi who they defeated were Rey Mysterio, Rey Fenix, and Bandito. And this went for 11 minutes and 48 seconds. Now, this was a very fucking rush match. Like I said, they went overtime with the previous match, and so if you've seen it, you would have been able to hear it within about 2 minutes of the match. You can hear him say, bring it home. You got to take it home. So that was really insane to hear. Just 2 minutes into the match, and you can imagine being in that position. Like, you've just started. This is the main event. This is what everybody has been waiting to go and see. And you're 2 minutes into it, and it's like, we have to finish this now. The fact that they went and got as many fucking spots in as they did in that short amount of time is absurd. With that amount of time, they went and pulled off an absolutely entertaining match. It's such a shame that I didn't go, you know, the extra little bit. If it went up to, say, 20 minutes, this would have been absolutely incredible to see what other stuff they had and having this match have the chance to breathe. But you had some fantastic moments, like you had Rey Mysterio and Kota Ibushi had their little, you know, showdown at the very start. The crowd absolutely ate that up. You had absolutely fucking everybody flipping out like crazy. Absolute absurdity. There was a point towards the end of the match where you had, I think it's like Rey Mysterio and Matt Jackson have a hiccup. There's a little botch there, and they like the people that caught it, they went and noticed that they saved it like absolute pros. It was absolutely insane. But it ended with the Meltzer driver, which is a great way to go and finish it off. Absolutely fantastic match, and yeah, it was crazy because as soon as it ended, I mean, like 2-3 seconds after the 3 count was hit, it's just the feed was cut. It was instantly over. And I was like, what? It's over. But like I said, they went overtime and they had to go and hit that 11 p.m. deadline, which they did with seconds to spare. And that's actually been said online, is that they did it with seconds to spare. Very awesome to go and see that Cody and the Young Bucks put together an amazing show. They had, you know, an idea in mind about what they wanted to present, and there was a lot of doubters. And the fact that they went and not only sold out the place in like under 30 minutes, but the fact that they went and pulled together such a fantastic, memorable night is awesome, and I hope that they can go and do some more in the future. So that's my thoughts on All In. If anybody is seeing this video, which I'll be absolutely surprised because I have no subscribers, it's my first video. If you guys have seen this and you would like to go and let me know your thoughts on All In, let me know in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this review, be sure to go and hit a like on it. And if you want to support me, I have a Patreon link in the description where I'm going to be putting up commentary tracks and other exclusive content on there. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Take care, and I'll see you all on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.